Bear Creek Farms is a fourth generational family farm, cattle and hog farm located here in beautiful Middle Tennessee. More than that, it's really our passion and our way of life.
What makes us unique and sets us apart from other farmers is that we control birth to harvest of our animals. So from raising the cattle to processing the cattle to essentially what goes onto your plate at the end of the day.
To see our family go from giving meat away in the back of a truck just to have people try it, to get the name out there, to see where we are now, where we're selling out of meat everywhere we sell it.
We share the triumphs of this farm and the tribulations, and some years there's more triumphs, and some years there's more tribulations, but at the end of the day, it's what we love, and we're honored that we get to do what we love for a living.
How's it going, Leanne?
Doing well, how are you?
I'm doing great. So I just wanted to come out here and thank you for having us, by the way. But there's all this stuff going on in the news about rising beef prices, and I've heard a couple of different reasons why it might be skyrocketing, but it is the news, and I don't really believe anything the news is saying anymore.
Right.
So I figured we'd come and get the answer straight from the source. So why is it rising?
Well, thank you for coming to our office here and in the opportunity to talk to your friends out there. There's a big disconnect on the beef prices that you're seeing at the grocery store. You know, your food at home, and what the cattle farmer and rancher is seeing. For example, you know, if you looked on the board today to see what cattle prices are at, like $1.20, you know, may have changed since I last looked, but that's about, you know, the average price for $1.20 a pound is what that is for a live animal. But when the end consumer, when you go to the grocery store, we're seeing, you know, double prices from last year. And what's disheartening is that the rancher and the farmer, the input costs, and I'm sure, you know, we've all heard about that, everybody's input costs just to raise their family, everything has gone up. The price of just feeding your animals hay, we have to put up 3,000 to 4,000 round bales of hay during the spring and summer to feed our animals through the winter. But with rising cost of fuel and labor and equipment and repairs, that's cost for the farmer has increased, sometimes at least doubled. For example, if you're using corn to feed your animals, we all feed our animals. We don't live in an area that has lush green pasture like this all year. Corn prices have doubled, sometimes tripled.
Oh, wow.
We paid $3 a bushel last year. We've paid over $6, close to $7 a bushel this year. That being said, so yes, I mean, prices have gone up in labor and feed, but the cattle farmer and the rancher we haven't been able to double our prices. But when you go to the grocery store, it appears that we have, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, I guess the cattle ranchers are getting, you know, rich because we're paying, you know, $5, $6 a pound for something that was $3 a pound, like ground beef.
So your guys' price is pretty much maintained, and maybe it fluctuated just a little bit.
Just
up,
a little bit.
But the end of the line is where they're seeing the big price hikes because of the shipping and
The shipping, I imagine like even transportation costs for folks to get from the processor to the grocery store. Some of those, the increase in fuel prices, the lack of labor. There is particularly in farming, for us to attract someone to come out to work on a farm, if we're competing with labor prices that you can get in Nashville, if you can go make $22 an hour working, at a hotel or something, you have to really weigh, am I going to drive out to the country to work at a farm? And if we have to pay labor prices like that, it's going to make things go up. Now, the issue or the disconnect that I mentioned earlier is the really high prices. I mean, sure, like if we've gone up 10% in our farm here at Bear Creek Farm, we haven't had a price increase in probably since 2017. We keep our one, we control our costs, right, by having our own processing, and our family helps run the farm, so we don't have to pay them. I'm just joking. They work for food, but the cost for consumers at the large grocery stores and things like that, it's really unbelievable how in a year. Now there's the issue also is that there's large corporations that control a lot of the poultry, cattle, and hog business. 85% of it is controlled by 4 or 5 big companies, big corporations, and what seems to be yes, there's higher cost of raising the animal. The farmer, the rancher isn't really seeing that, right? So more than likely, they're not making the profits that they need to, because you can't double the price of we can't double the price of our meat to our community. We can eke it up a little bit to help offset some of those higher costs that we're seeing right now. But when you get to the large box chains like a Walmart or something like that, when you see ground beef about the same price as you can get it from your local farmer, then it's a little bit of course you'd expect me to say that, a little bit of a no-brainer to try to seek out and support local, because you're not going to have, we can control things pretty well in a family farm. We don't have the middleman that you're seeing from the farmer to the grocery store. There's a lot of people that touch that along the way that are getting their share, or they're not the farmer right now, but everybody in between.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Do you know why I hear a lot of people are saying that the shelves at the grocery stores are empty when it comes to beef, and I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't seen completely empty, but I've seen it's been kind of slim pickings when it comes to a decent cut.
Yeah.
And do you know why that's happening all of a sudden? Are people hoarding it? Or?
Well, I have seen locally, I know that, when Grant works the farmer's market, we have seen probably a doubling of folks asking about buying buying beef for their freezer, for their family to get through the winter or whatever. I think there's a bit of a fear that there's going to be a shortage, I guess when you go to the grocery store and see the limited amount of offerings that you have, and the price, folks are going, wow, maybe I need to rethink how I'm shopping for my family. There are plenty of animals, so I can't answer 100% why they're not making it to the grocery store, because that's not our business model. For us, we don't participate in that. But I know that I do go to the grocery store, right? I mean, we have to buy things. I don't weave toilet paper and paper towel from Twines, but I do see it, and the quality and the quantity from 2019 is markedly different, I think, in my opinion.
Have you had any hurdles with kind of the going green thing? I've heard also rumors that beef is going to become the food of the wealthy, because it's just going up, and I hope that doesn't happen. But are you getting any pushback from like methane gas or any of that?
That's a very interesting topic, and our son Alex has done a lot of studying on that. So I know a lot of the information. I may not have the exact numbers, but yes, I mean, if you listen to the news, it like cattle farmers, seem like we're the sole root of that issue, and it is not the case. And I just welcome anybody just to like do some of your own research on that. And I think like, I would like to double check these numbers, but out of the whole pie chart of methane, agriculture on a whole is about 8 to 10% of the whole pie. So we're looking at, 100%, you've got agriculture, 8 to 10%. Okay, so out of that small piece that's contributed to agriculture, the majority of that is just equipment running on diesel fuel.
Yeah.
It's not so much, you've been out to the farm, it's not so much the natural methane that an animal produces.
Yeah.
And in case of our farm, I mean, they have over 2,000 acres to walk around and enjoy, and we fence off our creeks, to keep our water clean and healthy. So, I mean, you might have to edit that. That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, really. But yes, we do hear that. Not so much from our customers and people in the agriculture business, because anybody can look up. I think that study came from a government agency, the EPA. Alex is going EPA. So that's not anything that we just made up, or
Yeah.
it came from the National Cattlemen's Association. I mean, it's something that cattle farmers, we're totally environmentally conscious, because this is what we do. We don't take care of our land
Yeah.
and our water and are these resources and good stewards of the land and the water, then we're not going to be here.
Has there been any kind of governmental pushback with that at all, or is it just news
Yeah, I mean,
BS?
yeah, well, like the creeks and the water, they're really particular. They want to be sure that our cattle aren't sitting in the creeks and and polluting that, or going to the bathroom in the creeks and water. Well, right? It's my children drink this water, so I'm
Yeah.
going to keep the creeks and we have runoff ponds that are perfect for the cattle, because it's not any, the water's just for them, and it doesn't go into our creeks or water system. But yeah, the methane, and particularly in the last couple of years, or last year, there's a lot of like, I feel cattle farmers are getting a bad rap on that, and I just would invite people to get to the source of it. And we all need to be concerned about our environment, but if you think about farmers are going to be uber
Yeah.
concerned.
I mean, if you think about all the stuff that's going on in the world that's polluting, I would think cattle farmers are not top of the list and the priority. And it seems weird to me that the media seems to be targeting, farmers.
I know, it
And,
really does.
And things just keep getting weirder,
And
weirder. But,
sometimes, like, I just go like, why?
yeah.
I mean, not to sound like maudlin or anything, but like, quit picking on us. We're trying to do things right, and the methane that's produced at a cattle farm, particularly one that's run like this, it's minuscule. Like you said, there's so many bigger things that we should be concerned about than raising healthy, wholesome animals for community.
Yeah.
Like, just leave us the hell alone.
Yeah. Well, how is your business doing now that COVID's over? Has it changed a lot?
Yeah, so yes, it has.
I guess it's not over, but now that it's winding down,
it's
at least
winding
a little
down,
bit.
and restaurants are opening, and people are getting out. It was rough. As we chatted when all that happened, and you guys would come out to the farm store. That opening the farm store. Our children like, let's do this, and we did, and that was just so poignant to see the support of our community to come out. And of course, I have glasses on, so you can't see my eyes watering or tearing up, but it was very humbling and honoring to know that they cared, and that we also offered a service, because at that point, you remember, the grocery store was a sad state of affairs, and we were able to continue, and being able to continue wasn't ever a question. It wasn't like, oh, what, are we going to not do this? Or it's like, no, we're going to do this. We'll just figure out another way to do it. And if we have to, sit at the market at the corner with our beef and offer it to our community, we will. But I have seen, restaurants are picking up. They of course are been hit extremely hard. So supporting, small independent restaurants is huge. We may not be able to afford to do it as often as we did, but maybe, and that's what we've made a commitment to like focus on, maybe once a month, going to those places that have supported us that we took for granted for years. I hate to say that, it's like, who would have thought 85% of the restaurants you worked with were gonna close in a week? But a lot of them have persevered as well. The small ones have hung in there, and we're happy that that's turned around. We still have a wonderful presence at the farmers market and at our farm store. So, yeah.
So you'd say the community kind of helped you through, the local community?
Absolutely.
Is what got you through it?
Absolutely. And that was a big, it was a turning point. Anytime you go through a tragedy or something either in your business or personal, it's an opportunity to go, how are we going to, deal with this? And as farmers, every day is different. The weather, drought, fire, we deal with all this. So, a pandemic wasn't anything we could really, what would happen if we had a global pandemic? Never something we discussed as something our family needed to think about. But the community, when they were lying down the street, when we opened that first day, I just can't even tell you what that was like. And having chefs and cooks that we worked with, their restaurants closed and they were not even employed. And they would come out and get, hamburger or a roast or, something from us, all the way from Nashville. We had people come from Murfreesboro, Alabama.
Wow.
Not, the majority of was our, friends and right around here that rally to, to make it a point to buy their beef and their pork on Wednesdays from the farm store.
That's awesome. I love living out here because you don't get that in the city, and it's a two-way street, because if it weren't for you guys, then we wouldn't have been eating ribeyes during the pandemic, so or probably much of any beef.
Yeah.
And so so you guys support the community just as much as it supports you, and that's really cool. And thank you for all the info. That's just kind of wanted to get some real facts.
Well, I hope it helped
and get that out there. But so you're in Franklin, Tennessee.
That's right.
And do you guys have your new website up yet?
We do. It's bearcreekbeef.com, and there's an online store. We have a farmers market at the Franklin Farmers Market every Saturday, 9 to noon. I think the hours are changing this week. Yeah, and if folks that aren't in this community, I'm sure there's local farmers in your community that you could reach out to, and one thing that we all could do is just kind of not participate in what's going on with the price gouging. So supporting local is one way of doing that. Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.